Now, the trial for the hundreds of people that are arrested during the inauguration of President Donald Trump has revealed evidence that the video obtained by the prosecution, used by the prosecution, may have been selectively edited and could end up leading to a mistrial. Now, this is some great reporting from the Daily Beast, Kelly Weil. And again, it's a fantastic story. I'm going to give you the link in the description. But first, let me give you some context. Now, back in 2017, this was, of course, the inauguration of President Trump. During that inauguration, the police did a massive arrest of protesters. Now, they charged them with conspiracy to riot and vandalism and all these terrible things, which could lead, of course, to lots and lots of prison time. Now, their evidence is that a lot of these people just happened to be wearing black and were chanting anti-capitalist slogans. Now, don't get me wrong, there was actual violence at the protest, and there were smashing of windows, and I think a limousine got smashed. Don't do that, right? Now, the thing is that police, they didn't know who was actually doing this. So they rounded up people who were wearing black. Oh, they must be Antifa, right? So they rounded up about 200 people. They penned them in with a tactic known as kettling, and then just did a massive arrest, right? In total, about over 200 people were arrested and charged. And, of course, over the last year, as the court cases moves on, a lot of those people were found to be innocent because they either weren't part of the protest or they were part of the protest but hadn't actually done anything wrong. They were just there. Now, the people who remain in this case were allegedly caught on video talking about how they were going to wreck things during this protest, right? So this video was actually caught by Project Veritas. Now, Project Veritas happens to be owned by James O'Keefe, who is a right-wing provocateur of sorts. And, of course, he's most famous for putting on a pimp outfit and trying to do sting operations on different liberal outfits, right? One of them, of course, being Acorn. In fact, his videos, which were selectively edited, ended up taking down Acorn. Now, the big piece of evidence in this case against some of these protesters happens to be that video from Project Veritas. Now, of course, this is being called into question by the defense, who thinks, wait a minute, this video could have been altered. Whale explains. The Project Veritas video, which purportedly showed activists discussing plans to disrupt pro-Trump inauguration celebrations just days before the protest, was expected to be evidence at a number of these trials. The defendants, including one who says he wasn't even at the protest, cited reputations of Project Veritas and its founder, James O'Keefe, who have been accused of deceptively editing videos, among other dubious tactics. The reputation includes the videos of O'Keefe, of course, as I mentioned, wearing a pimp outfit. Now, that led to the destruction of Acorn, which just helped minorities vote. Acorn didn't do anything wrong. But, of course, thanks to these videos that were shown to be selectively edited, you had the Obama administration being so scared of right-wingers and, oh my God, look at Acorn. Look at what Acorn's doing. Well, we got to defund it. We got to defund it. And, of course, the Obama administration did defund it. They killed it anyway. So, as I said before, Veritas has a history of doing this, these hit pieces, these selectively edited videos on liberal groups. So the defense decides, you know what we're going to do? We're going to point that out. Because maybe these videos were doctored too. Now, of course, the reason that it would impact the case so much is because there's a legal provision called the Brady Rule. Now, the Brady Rule requires prosecutors to disclose any evidence in their possession that might help the defense's case. Now, what evidence would that be? Well, I mean, look, the video from Project Veritas is used by the prosecutors. Now, if the prosecutors know that that video might have been selectively edited, well, then they're supposed to present that to the court. That is what the Brady Rule is saying. Now, according to the Daily Beast, prosecutors released these videos to the defense and told the defense that the videos only had very specific edits to remove an undercover police officer and the person who recorded the undercover video, who was with Project Veritas. Now, this is according to Elizabeth Lagesse, a defendant had told the Daily Beast. Now, her case is scheduled for later this year, but it turns out they had neglected to disclose more than that. At least one potentially exculpatory section had been completely edited out from the video. In the removed clip, the Project Veritas agent undercut part of the prosecution's argument. This employee in this removed clip said, quote, "I was talking with one of the organizers from the IWW, which is the Industrial Workers of the World, and I don't think they know anything about any of the upper echelon stuff." Now, why does that matter? Well, it turns out that the line is critical because prosecutors have looked at the IWW, which is a leftist union, as an instigator in the protest, right? So this is supposed to be one of the shadow liberal leftist groups that have organized these supposed riots, right? Well, it turns out, maybe not. Now, they're going after the IWW because a number of the remaining defendants are members of the IWW, and their records were seized from defendants' cell phones and entered as evidence into the case. However, in a late Tuesday filing, first reported by The Intercept, defense attorneys spotted edited footage and they decided to call it out. In fact, attorneys for the defendants wrote in a recent motion, "The government has abused its power by hiding discovery from all defendants, purposely choosing not to disclose Brady information and calling into question the integrity of all of its third-party video evidence and proffers in open court." That filing, of course, went to Judge Morin, who is chief judge of the D.C. Superior Court. Now, Morin ruled that the prosecutors have violated the Brady rule by repeatedly hiding the video's edits from defendants. The ruling, of course, opens up prosecution to sanctions. Now, Morin, I have to let you know, is not presiding over the case. However, he does oversee motions in the case. Now, Morin also raised the possibility of subpoenaing Project Veritas on the matter to see whether or not they had actually edited the videos and what they had taken out. So they want to see the videos in full context. Now, on Thursday, the defense asked presiding judge Kimberly Knowles to make a Project Veritas member available for a deposition. However, the defense is worried that the video might have already done its damage. Now, they explain that the clip is problematic for the trial currently going on because they played the Project Veritas video yesterday in the trial group, according to Lagesse. So now what do? Did they try to cure that by telling the jury to ignore something they'd spent a half day watching and hearing about from a witness? That's a good question. I mean, they already admitted this video into evidence. They already had people watching it. And so now we find out that it's very likely that this video was doctored, as they have been known to do, Project Veritas. So what do we do? Well, there is a good chance that there could end up being a mistrial based on this Brady ruling. Now, I hope that is the case. Project Veritas is not a trustworthy organization. It's not because they're conservative, right? No. Some conservative organizations are at least honest, right? Yes, they have a specific point of view. Yes, they have a specific bias, but evidence is evidence. Video is video. What's caught on video is caught on video, right? And if you start editing that video in order to present your own narrative, well, then that ends up being a big problem, and that's exactly what Project Veritas has been known for. So any video from them, I'm not saying it should be outright dismissed. I'm saying that it needs to be thoroughly scrutinized, especially considering the gravity of the charges and of the situation. So I'm just saying, I hope the judge takes that into account. I hope there is a mistrial, and I hope the actual evidence. Because, look, I don't want people who did smash into cars and did do actual violence. Well, I don't want them to get away with that. But what I do, I want to be able to find the people who didn't do these things and make sure they didn't get caught up in this trap because of Project Veritas, because of a right-wing smear campaign. I just want to make sure that the truth lies where it lies and actually let the courts do what they're supposed to do. Punish people who are actually guilty. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.